Hey guys, welcome to this part of the tutorial series which focuses on the DOM and DOM manipulation in JavaScript. Basically what I'm going to be going through will be some of the basic concepts that incorporate the DOM. So before we get started, I've just set up a very basic boilerplate project here, and for those of you who are looking for code editors to work from, I'm going to be using Atom for this tutorial, and you can navigate to their atom.io website to download it for free. I'm using a Mac, so that's the operating system that it will show me, and it will allow you to download Atom for your respective operating system. So I'm just going to cancel that. We're going to be working from our browser and DevTools to understand the types of changes that we're going to be making in our local text editor. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to try adding an ID into our HTML boilerplate. Well, first we're going to create a new element and we're going to add an ID from within our HTML, and then we'll target that ID inside of our JavaScript file, and then we'll make some changes and we'll get to see what playing with the DOM can show us. So on line 8, what I'm going to do is just add a new div, and instead of a class, I'm actually going to give it an ID, and that ID name is going to be called div1. And now that I've got that ID set up, I'm going to take that ID and I'm going to go into my JavaScript file, and we're going to start by creating a new variable. That variable is just going to be called div, and we can grab the document object, and on that document object we can then say get element by ID, and we can pass in an argument which represents the string that will be the name of the ID that we provided to the element that we're looking for. So we're going to then say get element by ID called div1. Now that we've set up that variable, we can go on to a new line, and on that variable we can decide to add certain things to manipulate or make changes to that element. In this case, I'm going to start with some style changes. So we can then say div.style, and off of that style object we have access to all sorts of different CSS properties. So I'm going to say div.style.height, and I will set that height to 100 pixels. Then what I'll do is I will say div.style.width, and I will set that width to 100 pixels as well, I think is reasonable. And in order for us to see what that looks like, I want to give a color to that div. So div.style.background color, I will set that equal to blue. So now that we've affected some of those styling changes within our DOM, I'm going to refresh, and there we have it, a very blue looking square. If we go into our DevTools here, we will also see inside of our body this div called div1 style of height, style height property of height of 100 pixels, and then a width of 100 pixels and a background color of blue. So this is the same thing as adding inline styling directly within our HTML document. Just know that we have access to these properties off of the document object, and we can affect changes to our elements in HTML. We can affect style changes through JavaScript by using DOM manipulation. Okay, so the next example that I'm going to use is what we're going to do is go back into our HTML document, and we're going to create a button. So I'll create a button underneath this div element that we've added, and that button will just be called click me, and we'll give that button an ID name as well. I'm going to give that button an ID of button. And once we've created this button, I'll just quickly refresh to make sure that button appears. We have a button here. When we click on it, it's not going to do anything immediately because we haven't actually given it anything to do. So we're going to go into our JavaScript file and we're going to set it up with some event handling. So what I'll do is at the very top, I'm going to set up another variable called var button, and this will find the button ID this time. So get element by ID, and we will grab the button ID so that we can grab that element. And then now that we have access to this button element through the button variable that we saved it in, I'm going to create an event listener on that button element. So I'll go down here, and on the button, we will say add event listener. It's a very long one here. And the event listener will listen for a click, and we will then pass in a callback function that will do something. Now in this case, we're not doing anything too complicated. We just want to make sure that we can create event listeners and see those events in action. So this will be a very simple thing. I'm thinking that in this case, we can change the color of our square that we created a moment ago. So I'm going to grab this div.style.background color. I'm going to move it inside of this function, and we're going to effect a change. I'll change this to yellow on click. So let's see if that works. We're going to refresh, we're going to click, and there we go. So basically what we're able to do is trigger events in our DOM, and those events will do things within our DOM. If we wanted to add something else, we could say just a console.log statement. Typically this is how we like to test to make sure that things are working. So I'll just say button was clicked. And let's refresh that. It goes back to blue because now it refreshes all our changes. If we go into our console and we click this button, we both see that the box that we created is changed to yellow, and we see that the message button was clicked is printed in our console. Now because we haven't hooked this up with any toggle, we will see multiple times of the button was clicked message being printed in our console, but the color of this will not change back to blue because we haven't made it a toggle. We've just said change it to yellow, but we haven't told it to change it back to anything else. So that's one thing to be wary of when you are programming in the DOM. You have to literally tell the DOM what to do, and you have to be very careful of how you hook up your event listeners so that things behave as expected. So in this next example, what I'm going to do is create another button with another event listener, but this time we're going to look at a couple of other methods that we can also use within our DOM manipulation. So what we'll do is we'll go back to our HTML file here, and I'm going to create another button. So I'm just going to copy line 11, and on line 12, I'm going to paste that. And I'll give this some different text. Add some text, and the ID name here will be different. We'll call it button 2. I'm going to grab that ID name, and we're going to navigate over to our JavaScript file. I'm going to set up another button within our JavaScript. So this is going to be called button 2. That's not what I want to do. Call this button 2, and we'll say document dot get element by ID, and we will get the ID name of button 2 this time. When we refresh, we'll be able to see our new button. Nothing's happening just yet, but we're about to make something happen. So on button 2, what we'll do is we will add an event listener. This time, our event will still listen for another click, and we will pass in a callback function that will, what we're going to do with this callback function is we are going to create a new element. So in this case, we're going to create a new paragraph element, and this paragraph element will be created by accessing the document object, and on that document object, we're going to call the create element function. And within that create element function, we're going to pass in an argument that represents the element we want to create as a string. So this is going to be a P element, and we just pass in the letter P nested inside of quotations to represent the P element as a string. And then what I want to do is create a text node to go inside of that paragraph element. So I'm going to just call this text, and we will then say document.create text node, and inside of that we will pass in the text that we want to add. So this is some text. And then what I'll do is I'm going to create, or within a variable, I'm going to save a representation of this paragraph element with the newly added text nested within it. And in order for us to do that, we're going to call a method called Append Child. So I'm going to call var, I'm going to call this variable paragraph, and that will represent our P, and we will append a child within that, which will represent our text. So now we have a full paragraph, and in order for us to append that within our box so we can actually see it, I'm going to grab the div on line 2, and we're going to append this paragraph to that div as a child element. So what I'll do is I'll take that div and I'll append child, and within that I'm going to pass in our paragraph that we just created. So now that we have all that set up, I'm going to go to our button. We're going to test that out. Actually, let me refresh that first. And when I click my button, we see here this is some text is printed within the box that we created. It is a little small on my browser, but I hope you guys can see that. Basically, we clicked our button, and let me refresh. So when we click our button, we see the text has now been appended within our div element. And if we want to click our other button, we see now that the text is actually more visible because we changed the background color to yellow in the previous example. So this is just another example of how we can leverage the use of DOM manipulation to create additional elements and nest them inside of already existing elements. And DOM manipulation can be very useful for stuff like this. We can do all sorts of different things. We can navigate our DOM tree, like I had mentioned before, but this just kind of gives you a very basic and introductory glimpse into DOM manipulation. For those of you who do want to level up on this, I definitely encourage you to go to the W3 Schools website. That was very helpful for me in understanding DOM manipulation. And of course, there are other resources. I'll slip links to those resources in my description. And feel free to play around with these examples and see what else you can come up with.